services required for Nigeria's technological advancement.
There are certain technologies developed by Naseni that are ceded to private sector for mass production. For example, when there is scarcity of smart prepaid meter, Naseni developed Nigerian version, unique, through the bidding process. The winner is in the process of setting off a manufacturing plant for mass production. Also, Naseni's own version of Keke Nafe, what we call Keke Naseni, the cargo version, has been ceded for mass production to Innocent Motors. Naseni has intervened in many areas, especially renewable energy. We are producing solar modules, that is solar panel in Karshi, as a result of research and developmental activities.
Through its National Tractor Recovery Program, for instance, Naseni, Professor Sani Haruna explained, is also involved in what he called the refurbishment, rehabilitation and redeployment of broken down agricultural implements back to the farms for enhanced agricultural production.
The President is very impressed and happy with the achievements so far. He urges us to do more, such that the technologies that are yet to deploy for the benefits of Nigerians can be done, and also promise to look at all our hindrances for optimal performance. The National Tractor Recovery Program is only a pilot scheme we commence from Niger State. He wants us to expand to other areas because that can boost agricultural products.
With President Muhammadu Buhari as chairman of Naseni board, the executive vice chairman is certain that the agency can only do much more for the desired prosperity of the country.
We are going further into electric vehicle, aircraft and the rest of it. But most importantly, what Naseni is doing is now impacting on the lives of the common man. There are so many products of Naseni in our schools, in our farms, in our homes for processing of food and crops to make it easier, providing electricity for communities that have never experienced electricity before. For it to be 100% made in Nigeria is a thing of joy and of pride.
The governing board meeting of Naseni is soon to be hosted by the president, during which major decisions will be taken towards charting the best way forward for the agency. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Right, let's delve to security. The security situation in the northeast and indeed other parts of the country will not be the same in the year 2021. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum of BORNO State dropped the cheering news while speaking to newsmen after an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that they discussed the prevailing challenges of security as well as the planned repatriation of Nigerians taking refuge in neighboring countries.
Governor Zulum's BORNO State is without doubt the worst hit by terrorism and insurgency bedeviling Nigeria for over a decade. Apart from severe devastation to human lives and livelihoods, over 20,000 people were killed, nearly 2.3 million others displaced, and billions of naira worth of personal and public assets destroyed. BORNO was virtually under siege as several council areas were effectively under the control of the criminal elements. With the far-reaching measures adopted by the Buhari presidency on coming to power, the security situation has significantly improved as lost territories were recaptured and Boko Haram technically defeated. However, the terror group is still wreaking havoc, especially on soft targets, as demonstrated in the recent killing of rice farmers at Zabarmari community of BORNO State. That incident and others in parts of the country are getting Nigerians worried, and this dominated discussions between President Muhammadu Buhari and the BORNO State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum. After their closed-door engagement attended by Defense Minister Bashir Magashi, Governor Zulum told newsmen unequivocally that hope is bright for an end to the prevailing challenges of security in the country.
The President has assured Nigerians, has assured people of BORNO State that we shall see improvement in the year 2021, and I'm optimistic that we shall see it. Government at the subnational level will also exploit all potentials to strengthen the resilience of the communities, in addition to what the Nigerian army is doing. The president is up to the task to ensure that there will be major changes in terms of security station in the entire nation in the year 2021.
Governor Zulum also discussed with the president issues relating to the repatriation of Nigerians living in the neighboring Chad, Niger, and Cameroon.
They have stayed for a long time. They want to come back home. There is an ongoing agitation by them, and I think government has to listen to them. And President has given me the assurances that he will support this very important initiative in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs in ensuring the repatriation within the shortest possible time.
Borno State government, he said, is prepared to work hand in hand with the federal government in support of the planned repatriation exercise. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
On the foreign scene, we hear that UK Parliament approves Brexit trade deal, which will govern trade, standards and travel between EU and UK once transition period end on January 1st. Joyce Ometu reports that EU chiefs signed Brexit trade deal in Brussels.
Members of Parliament have voted to approve legislation that will pass the EU-UK post-Brexit deal into UK law. The Commons approved the measures by 521 votes to 73 at its first stage in the Commons. Parliament was recalled to put the agreement into UK law one day before the UK stops following EU rules. The EU bill will then pass to the House of Lords for their approval. Once both houses have agreed to the bill, the Queen will be asked to give her consent, known as royal assent. EU bosses officially signed the agreement in Brussels earlier. Reports say it has been flown to London for Boris Johnson to sign. Boris Johnson claims that his post-Brexit trade deal with the EU allows the UK to have its cake and eat it.
This deal, above all, means certainty. It means certainty for the aviation industry and the hauliers who have suffered so much in the COVID pandemic. It means certainty for the police, the border forces, the security services, all those we rely on across Europe to keep us all safe.
He considered that there would be changes for business when the UK leaves EU trading rules. But he insisted the deal would allow the UK to go its own way, but also have free trade with the EU. Joyce Ometu, NTA News.
And still staying with the foreign scene, UK becomes the first country to approve the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine, just as several die in attack on Yemen's Aden airport. Joyce Ametu again will bring us the details.
The United Kingdom has become the first country in the world to approve a coronavirus vaccine developed by Oxford University and AstraZeneca, with the first doses due to be given on Monday. The UK has ordered 100 million doses as it battles a major winter surge driven by a new highly contagious variant of the virus. It comes as the UK Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, announces the extension of lockdown measures in England to counter the rapidly growing number of cases of the new variant. In the meantime, Germany recorded more than 1,000 coronavirus-related deaths in one day for the first time on Wednesday. The reported death toll increased by 1,129 to 32,107. And Taiwan has closed its borders to everyone but citizens, residents, and a small number of accepted categories from 1st January after it detected the first case of the UK variant of COVID-19. In the U.S., a recently elected U.S. lawmaker has died from COVID-19, the first member of Congress to die from the disease. Republican Luke Letlow, aged 41, had been elected as representative for Louisiana's 5th District and was due to be sworn in on Sunday. Looking at the numbers, more than 82 million positive cases have been reported globally, and 1.8 million of the number have died. Nigeria recorded 749 new COVID-19 COVID-19 infections and 3 deaths across the country. The new cases take the total figure in the country to 85,560. In other news, reports from Yemen say an explosion at the airport in the city of Aden has killed at least 16 people shortly before a plane carrying new government officials landed. The source of the blast was not immediately clear, and no group has claimed responsibility for the explosion. Meanwhile, a landslide has smashed into a residential area near the Norwegian capital, injuring 9 people and destroying several homes. Authorities said some 200 people have been evacuated on Wednesday amid fears of further landslides. And that's where this segment ends. I am Joyce Ometu.
And back home, we hear succor will soon come the way of more than 3,500 poor and vulnerable households from 15 out of the 44 local government areas of Kano State. Now, this came to light during a 2-day training on enrollment process and community mobilization for enrollment squad under the conditional cash transfer program of the federal government. Yahanesu Hassan Barau reports.
The conditional cash transfer is one of the federal government's social investment program targeted to break intergenerational poverty through capital development in the country. The program has impacted positively on the livelihood of more than 100,000 poor and vulnerable across 15 local government areas of Kano State. This necessitated the federal government to train 120 cash transfer facilitators on better community mobilization and disclosure of households.
We are going to go to the next 50%, which will make it the 80%, then the last 20%. We have to build their capacities, facing current realities, guarding them and warning them against sharp practices.
Rukaya Ibrahim and Sha'aban Idris are among the gatekeepers.
I want to use that training that we've gotten to go to my community, make use of the documents, the materials I've required here, and go and transmit whatever it is.
A document that we will go and ask and we will enroll them based on these documents. We follow them step by step.
With the slogan, Better Don't Come, the household uplifting program is expected to reach out to the remaining 29 local government areas of Kano State by the year 2021. In Kano, Yahanesu Hassan Barau, NTA News.
Ignorance and blatant disregard of measures taken by the National Identity Management Commission may complicate difficulties being faced by those trooping to get their national identity number. ICT correspondent Joseph Johnson reports that the booking system introduced to reduce crowding and forestall spreading of COVID-19 is facing challenges in Abuja.
Another working day and a huge crowd at the headquarters of the National Identity Management Commission as Nigerians seeking to be enrolled continue to troop here without considering the COVID-19 safety protocols.
Social distancing is a challenge here, and despite the fact that more security officers were deployed to the commission to ensure strict compliance with COVID-19 safety protocols, well, apparently one thing we can agree on, that is yet to happen.
For me, there has been no observation of any COVID-19 guideline because people have been forget the fact that there's a lot of nose masks all around. Most people have not been putting it on. I've not seen a lot of people using hand sanitizers, and that 2-meter distancing has not been observed.
Forcing everybody within this limited time to come and register is what brought about what we are seeing here.
Next time we have word. Let us use our word. Not everybody cannot be, everyone's supposed to get this kind of a thing.
From the CCTV in the Director General's office, grey areas of non-adherence to social distancing are visible for the NIMSI boss to worry about. He explains that the booking system introduced by the Commission has been in place since the 4th of February 2020.
We will continuously educate people just what we are doing, and also continuously give those directives, like that anyone that is not wearing mask or not following the COVID rule or not on appointment should not be allowed into the Abuja and Lagos offices.
What may soothe the nerves of those seeking registration is the fact that telcos and about 173 published agents will also join in capturing data for the Commission. But before then, concerns over crowding and non-compliance with the booking system need to be addressed. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Let's do the needful for our safety. Let's go on a break. We're back. Stay tuned.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Intel 4G LTE-Advanced and experience Superfast internet access today. Visit intel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Intel. Live more.
The Counsel of Our Fathers.
Action of the protests by criminals have resulted into violence, destruction of government and private properties, criminal release of prisoners, and the lynching and burning of policemen and some innocent persons. These developments is causing serious concern to all of us, and if care is not taken, it might lead the country to a point of no return.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Thanks for staying tuned. Nigeria's quest for adequate and reliable power supply has continued to receive attention from the federal government, with sectoral players sustaining momentum for optimal result. Joshua Ojito takes a look at some of the milestones and challenges of the sector in the year 2020.
Strategic to economic growth of any nation is availability of electricity supply, and federal government says it remains topmost on its priority list, with more funding injected into the sector in 2020. However, the sector had its share of the ripple effect of COVID-19 pandemic, which slowed down work on many power projects. Notwithstanding, power sector witnessed remarkable progress in the year 2020 as Nigeria recorded twice in the year peak generation of more than 5,000 megawatts of electricity, which was successfully transmitted through the national grid.
What we have to do first is to make sure that we have a robust grid that can transmit power anytime and to any place.
Similarly, number of power substations were inaugurated, like the Gagarawa substation in Jigawa State, which was abandoned for more than 20 years, even as more contractors were mobilized back to site to complete abandoned power projects. The Mambila hydroelectric power project, which remained on the drawing board for more than 40 years, is gradually becoming a reality, with a flag of sensitization to host communities and youth empowerment program that will train 20,000 youths expected to be engaged during the construction of the hydro dam.
We wish to provide action and more action as far as this project is concerned.
While efforts are being made to construct more hydro and gas power plants, attention is also given to solar-powered projects, with many inaugurated across the country, while additional 20 million Nigerians are expected to benefit from the solar-powered Niger project, which Rural Electrification Agency flagged off in the year under review.
As we progress, by the year 2021, up to the end of our tenure, we intend to achieve a lot, not less than 11,000 megawatts.
In order to make the sector attractive to investors and in line with the multi-year tariff order, service-based reflective tariff was introduced to boost power supply and ensure customers pay only for what they consume.
This was followed by the National Mass Metering Program, thereby bringing to an end an era of estimated billing and revenue losses in the sector. There was also leadership change at the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, as the managing director of the company, Usman Gur Mohammed, was relieved of his appointment, and Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz stepped in as the acting managing director. Projecting into the new year, sector players say the gains recorded in the year 2020 should be consolidated for Nigeria to overcome the challenge of inadequate power supply. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
The Buhari Media Organization has described Nigeria's ranking among the top 25 economies in the world as a reflection of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration effort in building a more resilient economy. In a statement signed by its chairman, Niyi Akinshiju, the BMO says the Nigeria's status moved up from 46th to 25th position in spite of the global economic crisis caused by COVID-19. BMO notes that the country was making great strides and attracting global praises at a time a group of Nigerians were wishing the country bad. It therefore reassured Nigerians that the president would not rest on its oars in his remaining time in office, but continue to ensure that he makes the country better than he met it. Nigerians, from the president to those in the academia in particular, were in a state of shock on Tuesday night over the death of Professor Femi Odekunle, a renowned professor of criminology and member of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption. In this tribute, Timothy Yusuf looks at the man of immense influence and contributor to national development.
When I say that redeeming the youth, we must first redeem the leaders. So when we redeem the leaders, then the youth will be redeemed.
Classic Professor Femi Odekunle, an acknowledged academic, first professor of criminology in Nigeria and member of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption. The news of his death on this 29th December 2020 sent shockwaves across the nation as he meant a lot to many people across all divides. Tributes that poured in barely few hours after his demise show his personality and influence. President Buhari described Professor Odekunle as valued friend and a towering intellectual giant with an impeccable knowledge of his chosen academic field, governance and administration. Other words of eulogies used by different people show how great a loss Professor Odekunle's death is to Nigeria.
Until his passage, he has been very useful to successive governments in this country, and sitting on the anti-corruption committee of Mr. President, he has brought to bear his wealth of knowledge.
He was a man of principle. He lived by a code of ethics. He believed that Nigeria would be a better place without corruption in it. He was one personality that quite knowledgeable in his chosen field, and I dare say that Nigeria had never made maximum use of his intellectual prowess.
With the remains of the late Professor Femi Odekunle set to be finally laid to rest this Thursday, many, including the NTA, where he has over the years served as a resource person and analyst, will greatly miss the man everyone likes and respects. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Sad indeed. Let's go take sports update next.
Welcome to Sports Update. I am Tamara Ebiwe. With Nigeria competing in 11 sports where it has comparative advantage in the Olympics, Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare has assured a more robust preparation will commence early next year with less than 6 months to the Games. First and second phases of the campaign for the Tokyo Games held in Plateau, Lagos, Abuja, Bayelsa and Rivers States, and the ministry says plans for the next phase are in top gear. In the Nigeria Professional Football League Week 1 concluding fixture, 2016 runners-up Rivers United began their season on a winning note against 2016 champions Rangers International in Port Harcourt in a match that was live on the NTA Wednesday evening. On Tuesday, Enyimba pipped Abia Warriors by a lone goal. The match was also beamed live on NTA from Aba. Away from the Nigeria Professional Football League, Governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, has restated readiness to develop youths in the state through sports. This was when he announced his partnership with the Nigeria Football Federation when he hosted the NFF leadership in his office on Tuesday in Abeokuta. Governor Abiodun said he is committed to the growth of sports as a tool for empowering the youths and making them self-reliant. Finally, the 5th edition of the Melafia Peace and Unity Cup in 2021, organizers say will be bigger, following the conclusion of the 4th edition in Dedere, Obi, local government area of Nasarawa State, that saw FC Keana emerge victorious with 4-2 penalty shootout.
If more of these tournaments can be organized, I mean, we'll get the raw talents out from here.
That's the plan, that's the goal. Unity, peace, good football, love is what you have just seen now.
Greater Tomorrow finished 3rd, defeating Edgar FC by a lone goal. And that's it on Sports Updates. I am Tamara Ebiwe.
All right, let's find out how tomorrow's weather will fare. That's the news, and as we go, let's remind you not to get tired to connect with NTA by standing against rape and rapists. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.
"24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTA I. You can also download the iOS